Stan Lee, Marvel Comics legend, and had a hand in creating most of the main characters we know and love. Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, and so on. The man's 95 years old, and people are taking advantage of him. For those of you who do not pay attention to his Twitter, watch this video to find out what's been going on. So, Nerdites and Geeklings, as I said, we're going to be talking about Stan Lee in this video and the things that have been happening to him over the last few months. For those of you who don't know, he lost his wife, Joan, of 70 years last July, and so since then things have been a little bit rough for him, assuming emotionally, as well as because of the fact that he no longer has the person that he's been making decisions with for the majority of his life. It seems like people have been sort of creeping in there and trying to take advantage of that fact. Being who he is, Stan Lee, one of the co-creators of Marvel Comics and most of their main characters, he's obviously extremely wealthy. His even his personal home is valued over $50 million. So for those of you who do follow his Twitter, you may have noticed that back in February he did drop a video for everyone kind of explaining why he's been a little bit absent from his typical posting habits, and that's because he had been fighting pneumonia.
Hiya, heroes. This is Stan Lee. I haven't been in touch with you lately. Had a little bout of pneumonia I've been fighting, but it seems to be getting better. But I want you all to know I'm thinking of you. Of course, I always think of the fans. And I hope you're all doing well. And I miss you all. I miss your enthusiasm. I miss all the notes and the photos and the emails I used to get. And I still get a lot of them. And I want you to know that I still love you all. And I think that Marvel and Spidey and I had the best group of fans that any group in the world ever had, and I sure appreciate it. So let me know how you're doing. I hope everything is going well for you, and I hope next time we talk I'll be in even better shape. Maybe I'll have some of this pneumonia knocked down and we could have some real fun over the internet. Till then, Excelsior.
There's been a lot of skepticism in the videos he's been dropping, whether or not he's been somewhat coerced into what he should be telling people. Anyways, I'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later probably. The most recent things that I'm going to be mentioning are over the last 4 months. 4 months ago, there was a call for the LAPD to investigate an assault and battery on Stan Lee in his own home. Now, suspicion for that particular incident ended up falling to his longtime manager and bodyguard, Max Anderson. I don't know much specifically on that story, but there are articles, if you do look up online, the specific details, look up on Google or something, LAPD, investigation, Stan Lee, home attack. I'm sure you'll find a lot of information regarding it. Also, over the last few months, there's been some allegations of people misusing his money. There was a $300,000 check written in his name, not to his knowledge, so obviously it wasn't his permission to whatever it was being spent on. And there's also an $850,000 home purchased in his name that he was not at all aware of. Just 2 months ago, there was reports of a former business partner of Stan's forging documents to have a nurse take a sample of his blood, and that it was illegally stolen in a sense, and that blood was used in order to do a hand-printed signed Stan Lee signature on Black Panther comics that were being sold at an exhibit at the Avengers station at Treasure Island. And I don't know a lot of the whole details surrounding this. I did watch a video just recently about someone who was talking about stuff that was happening to Stan Lee over the last little while, and one of the main points he was focusing on was a document that had been signed and notarized by Stan Lee that was effectively writing off his daughter. It was paragraph of examples of how she was mistreating him, his wife, both emotionally, sometimes physically, and she'd never had a job in her life. She was basically leeching off of them. They were giving her money to survive, paying all her bills. She had no responsibility, just asking for more and more and more. And Stan had enough, and so he got his lawyer to draft this document that he signed and notarized, basically writing her off. And then a little while later, there was a video release where he was basically recanting that statement.
And action.
Hi, this is Stan Lee. I just want to set the record straight about a document that I heard is floating around, which is totally incorrect, inaccurate, misleading, insulting, and I don't know how many more words I can say about it. Apparently it was written by Tom Lawless, an attorney that I had hired for just a few days, and then I dismissed him. He got together with someone else, and they're publishing this document, which supposedly I signed, which claims that my daughter and her friend are doing horrible things to me, and I guess to the rest of the world. Well, I just want to mention my relationship with my daughter has never been better, and my friend Kia Morgan also and I have a great relationship. And anybody who is saying anything negative about us or about them suing me or me suing them is just spreading lies. And unfortunately, we seem to live in the sort of environment where anybody can say a lie about anybody. And force me, excuse me, and force me to make a speech like this, for which there should be no need. Everything in my life is going the way I want it to. My friends are my friends, my daughter is my daughter, and I'm beginning to learn who my enemies are. And that's really all I can say now. And I'm not a lawyer, I don't know what I should be saying, but everything I've said up to this moment is God's truth.
And remember the macular degeneration, Stan.
Oh, the hell with that.
And it just seemed a little fishy when I saw it personally. And this whole situation just doesn't really make sense. He's obviously, people are taking advantage of his age and the fact that his sight is going, and that the fact that obviously some of his memory is probably starting to fade a little bit in some senses. So he's being basically manipulated from what I can tell. That goes even more into what the most recent thing that's happening is that in the news, just as of late, over the last few days, it's been saying that Stan Lee has sought out and has been granted a restraining order against his business partner, Kia Morgan. He's claimed elder abuse. And what makes this situation even more convoluted and confusing is that only a few days prior, there was a video posted on Twitter where Stan Lee said this.
Hiya, heroes. It has come to my attention that many people contact other companies or other people trying to get in touch with me. I just want to go on the record as saying I have only one partner, only one person who does represent me, and that's Kia Morgan. Anybody else who claims to be my rep is just making that story up. So I just want to put it on the record. I want you to know, if you want me, call me. If you can't get me, call Kia Morgan. The two of us work together and are conquering the world side by side. Excelsior.
Somewhat confusing, don't you think? Now, the lawyer had said in filing that he, along with law enforcement and Adult Protective Services, believes that Mr. Morgan is unduly influencing Mr. Lee and isolating him. And so, I mean, I don't know much about Mr. Morgan. I even looked him up on Wikipedia. There's not even a Wikipedia page on him. There's some websites and some articles saying how he's, a producer, director, apparently a very influential person in the world, and has been working with Stan Lee for years. Has he been taking advantage of Stan Lee as of late in his current situation? That's what the restraining order is saying. So I just, the guy's 95 years old. He's not dead yet. Leave him alone. Everyone loves him. He's co-creator of Marvel Comic. This is just kind of outraging me. So that's kind of the end of my little rah about it. And so you kind of have the information I have. If you want to go look at more online, you can do. That's what I did. And so that's the end of today's video. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.